Hi, welcome to the lecture on subqueries. So before moving on to the concepts of subqueries, I want to show you one more way of running SQL queries, and it's using something called scripts. So what we can do is we can actually always have a file or a script, you can say, and we can have our SQL queries in that file, and then we can run that file which actually has our SQL queries, and it's going to give us the same results if you run your SQL queries from this command prompt here. So if I just run a query in command prompt like this is what we have been doing all this time, running queries in the command prompt like this. But we can also run these queries from a script. So let's see how we can do that. New file, save this file, any name you want. Let's give it test script.sql, because it's a SQL script, so we will have the extension .sql in the end, and just click save and just write the same query that we just wrote on the command line. Select star from order items and let's save it. And how do you run this script? You run the script using something called source from your command line. Source and then the name of that file, test script SQL semicolon and enter. You see, it did the exact same thing. Source and then the name of the file, and we have the result here. So I just wanted to show you that because we're going to be using this way of running SQL queries as well. Moving on, so let's now focus on what exactly are subqueries. So I'm just going to expand this a bit. I'm just going to clear this. So imagine we have this table here that we just ran in our last query. So imagine we have this table here. What if we want to extract all the customer information for product ID RGAN01? So what I mean by that is I want all the customers who ordered this product with the ID RGAN01, and I want their information. So for example, I want their first name, I want their last name, I want their contact information like telephone number and all that. So how I'm going to do that? I don't have this information in this table yet. All I have is the product ID, I have the order number, and I have all the bunch of other stuff that actually relates to the products. I don't have any customer information in this table. So how can I get that information? Because that information is actually stored in some other table. Let's see another table that might have customer information. Let's see, select star from table called orders. So as you can see, this information in this table, we have the customer ID. We don't have the customer name or any of that information yet, but we have the customer's ID. So we are getting somewhere. As you can see, we have the order number column here as well, this column here, and we have the same column in our last table. That's the order items table. So this is the order items table and this is the orders table. So why do we have these similar looking columns in both the tables? So what happens in RDBMS or relational databases is all the tables in that specific database are linked together. They're all related to one another. That's why we have the name relational database. So we have this table here and we have all these random numbers 2005, 2005, and then we have the same numbers here. So this column here is linking to this column here. So that's how these two tables are connected to each other. This is actually also called a primary key because as you can see, these keys are unique in this table and they're actually connected to this other table, order items table, using this column. And as you might see, it's not unique here because it's a foreign key. So when they're unique, they are called primary keys, and then when they're connected to other table, it's called a foreign key. So in order items table, this column is the foreign key column, and in the orders item table, it's called a primary key column. You don't need to remember that, but that's just like a basic concept. So moving on, we have the customer ID here, but we don't have any customer information. So what we can do is we can look at another table that also has a customer information. Let's see. Select star from, I think it's customers table. Oh, I misspelled it. It's a typo. Let's correct that. Press enter. I'm gonna zoom out a bit. So as you can see, we have this table, customers table here. So we had three tables. We had the first table, the order items table, this one. Then we had the orders table, and now we have the customers table. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to extract all the customer information for product ID, RGA, and RGAN01. And as this table does not have any customers information, we are trying to link information from other tables. So we went to the orders table first, and then after that we came to the customers table. And as you can see, customers table has these primary keys, these unique values, customer IDs, customer ID, third customer, fourth customer, fifth customer, and this information is linked to the orders table. So this is the primary key here, and this is the foreign key here because this is linked. As you can see, all these tables are linked now. So this table, customers table, is linked to orders table, and the orders table is linked to the order items table using order numbers. So how can we use this information of these connections or these relations and get what we want? How can we do that? I'm going to show you how can we do that in our script. So let's minimize this a bit. Let's come back to our script here. The first thing what we want is select order number from order items where product ID equals RGAN01. Let's save that and let's see what this is going to do. I'm just going to zoom in a bit and let's try to run this. Source test script.SQL. Okay, so what exactly is happening here is select order number from order items table. The first table that we saw, we need the order number. Because why do we need order number? Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna extract the order numbers for this specific product because we want this specific product's information, customer's information that purchased this product. So we're gonna extract the order number for that product, and after that we're gonna link that order number to this table here. And after linking that product number, that order number to this orders table here, we're gonna get the customer ID. And after we get the customer ID, we're gonna link that customer ID to that customer's information in this table. So that's what we are trying to achieve. So let's go back, and we're gonna use a concept called subqueries for connecting these different queries together. Subquery it just means a nested query, a query inside a query. That means a subquery. So we already have the order number now. So let's do something else. We have select cust ID from orders table, the second table we saw, where order number and we're gonna have this query inside. As you remember, we saw in earlier, and we're gonna use the same concept. I'm just gonna indent this a bit so that it looks cleaner and you can understand what's going on. So I'm just gonna save this. So what exactly is happening here? So the first query is gonna give us the order number from the first table that we saw, the order items table, and this order number is gonna go into this other query for the orders table, and it's gonna give us that corresponding customer ID for that order. So let's run this a bit. Let's zoom in. Let's clean this up a bit. Source test script.sql. Oh, let's see what's going on here. Select cust ID from orders. Get order number in. Select order number from order items table. Product ID equals. Oh, I think the semicolon here. Let's do that without it. Awesome, it works now. So we extracted the order number from the order items table, and now we are using that extracted order number in the orders table information, as you can see. And now we have the customer ID. So what we need now is the customer information, the first name, the last name and stuff, because customer ID is not telling us anything. So how can we do that? We can do one more subquery. We can do, as you remember, all the customer information is stored in customers table. So select cust name, cust contact from customers table, where cust ID in. Now, as you know, what we're gonna do, we're gonna copy all this and we're gonna paste that in. Just gonna indent that again. Okay. Oops. Okay, that looks all right. Semicolon. So what exactly is happening here? So in the last query, we had the customer ID. We got the customer ID, and now we're using that customer ID in our new query here for extracting the customer's information from the customers table. So let's run this down a bit. Awesome. So we have all the information we needed. So we have this customer name, we have the customer contact, we have everything here. Everything for the product ID RGAN01. So these are the people who actually bought this product with the product ID RGAN01. So as you can see, we connected three different subqueries, three different queries using this concept called subqueries. And whenever you have to use subqueries, you will always gonna use in operator for that. So just to wrap up, what we did was we extracted the order number from the order items table. After extracting that, we use that number for our orders table for extracting the customer ID for that specific customer. When we got the customer ID, we use that customer ID for extracting customers information from customers table here, like customer name, customer contact, and all that. So that's it for this video, guys. I know this concept is a bit complicated, but I hope you got the basics of it, and that's what matters.